Hey, it's Drew with Southern Yankee Innovations, and today we're going to build a tool rack for the back of your tractor. Mine just connected to the rollover bar. I used the existing lower hole and then drilled another hole about an inch lower. Most of what I used was just stuff I had laying around from previous projects. This is 2-inch square tubing. I believe it was 3/16 wall. And then I used 3-inch by 4-inch 3/16 flat plates that I had for the end caps. I measured the distance between the rollover bar and then I subtracted the width of the two flat plates and cut the square tube to length. Then I welded the end caps on, and I don't have a great welder, I just have a flux core cheap Hobart welder, but it gets the job done for simple things like this. The two holes I had drilled into the rollover bar, I copied onto that flat plate for the end cap, and I welded nuts on the bar so I didn't actually have to try to bolt them to the rollover bar. I can just use the bolts to go through the holes and lock it in place. On the back side you can see the bolts sticking through, and then that's just a side profile to show the nuts welded on. I'm going to use 2 wooden boxes and metal hangers, and to keep them from bouncing around and sliding around, I'm going to put some pins in that I can put some cotter pins through, or easy pull pins to take them on and off. You'll have to ignore my footwear. I was just hanging out in the garage. I didn't normally wear that. I usually wear boots for something like this. Using 1/2-inch pins, so then I just stepped the hole up to a larger size. Next, I welded the underside of the pins so that way they wouldn't fall out. Something I didn't pay close enough attention to that I would recommend is to make sure you line your holes up with the direction you want your pins to face, whether it's towards the back or towards the side. The end caps are on and the pins are in. I just put some spray paint on, and it's kind of a rough finished product. As I previously mentioned, there are no nuts or bolts that go through the rollover bar. The holes I have drilled basically are going to create a wedge with each bolt going into the hole and locking it in place. I just used grade 5 5/16 bolts. It's not going to be a whole lot of weight on there, so I'm not really too worried about the strength. Here's the bar mounted to the tractor. I have a lot of scrap wood around the house, so all I did was cut what I had to size without having to rip anything down. And then I just used a brad gun to nail everything together, and then once it was all nailed together, I would go through and screw it in place. I plan on making the crates removable, so I'm going to put 2 handles on each side. That way if, say, I'm cutting a tree down or something like that and I have some chainsaw tools or wedges or whatever, then I can take it on and off and take it to where I'm working. I just used a 7/8 drill bit and then my jigsaw to cut them out. I'm not really too worried about how clean they were. They're pretty rough. I did choose to make them the size of a gas can. I believe it was 10 by 13, and then the heights were just based off of whatever width I had for scrap, and then I stained them with some stain I had laying around. To mount the brackets to the tractor, I was going to use some just regular 90s, but I figured I'd go out and buy a piece of 3/16 flat bar and create more of like a U instead of a 90. I just heated it up with a torch and I'd bend it over with the hammer. Just test fit each piece to make sure they fit on the 2-inch square stock okay. And then I drilled the holes for the screws to mount to the box, and then on the top I put a larger hole for the pins that are in the cross tube bar. Once everything was finished up, I painted them, mounted them on the tractor, and looks like they'll work pretty well.